All right, so if you want to save some money, still have some fun, and still be able to run your rifle as you have it set up, stick around because we're going to be talking about the Cmmg 22 conversion in the Bravo configuration. So if you don't know, you can actually take that AR and you can put a specific set of parts in there from Cmmg, which is going to be that bolt and carrier group assembly and their 25 round magazines, and you can effectively turn your 5.56 into a 22 LR, have a ton of fun out there on the range, and save a ton of money without having to buy a completely new rifle or lower or another upper, and it's very budget friendly. Go to work out there on the range, having a ton of fun. All right, so that thing just made me laugh out there on the range. So I've shot the 22 conversion stuff before, and I've got 1022s and all that stuff. But just sitting there, just mag dumping that thing into the head of the silhouette out there was a ton of fun. It's a lot less felt recoil than a 5.56, 223. We all understand that, but it's still a very valuable tool, not only for you, but for your family, your friends, those new people out there that have never maybe experienced a rifle with a bigger round, you know, than a 22 like that. There's a lot of good stuff here. So if you guys like learning about these cool parts here to save you a little bit of money and have some fun out there, go ahead and get subbed up, get belled up, and definitely give the video a like if you're into anything going on here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna check out these parts up there. I'm gonna show you how nicely this is actually put together. There's actually some pretty sweet TIG weld work going on this thing, which is pretty nice touch that it's not some gnarly, ugly looking welds on there. All right, so the Cmmg 22 conversion in the Bravo kit. So what do we get with this? We're gonna get the bolt right here, which is made out of stainless steel, and we'll go over exactly how this works in just a second here. So if you'll notice up here, that looks like a 5.56 cartridge, doesn't it right there? Just without the actual projectile. So how this works, it takes place of your existing bolt, but it also takes place of your buffer and recoil spring as well, because it is all internal here, right like that. So effectively this becomes your buffer and buffer spring right here. You'll notice down in the bottom end right there, okay, that is going to be your feeding lug right there. You can see it. That's what's going to catch the next round of the mag, and that is going to drive that round up into what is now your new feed ramp right there. And you can see it's a little bit dirty because I've been running it. And then you can see where it's actually going to chamber the round right there. So that effectively becomes your new bore, your new throat, and then the 22 caliber projectile leaves through here because that end is going to be all the way forward into the chamber of your existing upper receiver. Absolutely marvelous design right here. Very, very cool. Like I said, made out of stainless steel. Very easy to work on. It comes apart just like a regular bolt carrier group. Clean it as needed, and it's just going to cycle like that all day long. Very easy, and that's why this system works so well, is because of that light spring and that short stroke system that's going on out there. Now, talking about the quality of this, like I said, it is stainless steel, but I want you guys to take a good look right in that area right here. So you can see that in there. That is a beautiful TIG weld. So anybody that knows anything about TIG welding, that's a pretty good looking weld. There's a little booger on the end right there, but on both sides, that's a pretty solid weld. I mean, especially for something like this, getting in there, and the way that they mass produce these things. Now, whether that's hand done or machine done, I don't know, but I know enough about welding to look that that is a pretty solid weld, and that is not going to break anytime soon. So let's go ahead and talk about the functionality of this. If I ran into any problems, how it feels out there, the cost, and where does this thing actually fit for those of us that want to save a little bit of money and still have that fun out there. All right, let's go ahead and talk about that function. I know some of you are like, where's your EOTech that was in the video? Well, I had to lend it to a buddy, Mike from After Action Photography, to use some photos with. So we all know that having this thing in a traditional 5.56 configuration, it's gonna give us a lot more of that kind of recoil impulse than it is with that 22 conversion kit in it. But the other thing with 22 is the ammo is not always the best. Even unlike those of us that have Ruger 1022s, sometimes those things just don't run right at all, and you've got to change extractors or polish things or look at a different bolt. Sometimes it can just be a mess. A lot of it's ammo or mag related. The way that that bolt system works in there, it changes the feed ramp, it matches up with the mag, it has the different spring in there. It effectively does a lot of different things as compared to something like a 1022, and of course, a lot different than the AR that it is going in. I'm happy to say we put about 300 to 400 rounds for this thing out there. We did not have a single malfunction. No failure to extract, no failure to eject, no bad ammo, which was actually like the first time I haven't had at least one 22 round not go bang out there. And some of the stuff I was using was like decade old ammo. So that Bravo kit specifically, what you're gonna get is 3 of their 25 round mags, those cool kind of orange followers in them, and that bolt and carrier group. It's literally like we saw up close, like a 30-second to 1 minute swap. And you've now turned that thing into something you can fire 1,000 rounds out of for about like 90 bucks, as compared to 1,000 rounds of 5.56, which is about $7,000 to $1,000 right now, depending on where you can find it and what type you can actually get. Now, coming in at 200 bucks for the bolt and carry and 3 of those mags, it's pretty solid price, being that if you go and buy like an MP Sport 1522, which is just a 22 rifle, I want to say those are like $500 to $600-ish, something right now, maybe a little bit more. Let me know in the comments. But that's a lot less, and you don't have to have a completely different rifle. You can have your current one with all the way it's set up, exactly how you want to run it, swap those parts out, and go out there to do some training on the cheap, or just have a ton of fun, break in somebody who's new to rifles, maybe have your kids use them. But there's just a lot of advantages besides the money aspect of this as well. Now, just because the recoil impulse on that thing is like nothing, doesn't mean it's not a valuable training tool. A lot of good stuff can be done out there. You can still work on the fundamentals, the trigger press, aiming, all that good stuff can be done out there while saving some coin or helping a new person or a younger person that's maybe not ready for that 5.56 blowback that you can get out of an AR. In all, for me, when I looked at the 2 options, especially with the ammo shortages and costs going on right now between buying a full 22 rifle that was set up like that and then having to outfit it with an optic or everything else maybe that I wanted, and buying that Cmmg conversion, I went and spent the 199 bucks, and I'm happy that I did, because 1, I don't have room for another rifle. I know, terrible problem to have, but I just didn't want to buy a completely another setup that's only gonna run 22 when I can buy that conversion, stick it in any of my current rifles, and use it out there on the range. The one thing is, depending on the 22 ammo that you're using, you may get a little lead in the barrel, you may get some stuff like that. Clean the thing out, and then of course, clean that bolt and carry group, take care of that thing, because that's what's gonna keep you running your rifle on the cheap. Well, that is what I have for you all today. I hope you guys liked learning about this thing. It's pretty cool how that, at first, most people don't understand that that's actually a 5.56 223 casing that sits in the bore, and the 22 round is actually inside of here. Most people didn't understand that when I was explaining this to some people, both at work and some of my friends, until I showed them how the round goes up in there. I just thought that was pretty cool. So if you guys like what's going on here, get subbed up, get belled up. Definitely hammer that like button if you like anything that's going on here. Huge thank you to all of you guys for the support, and especially to my Patreons. You guys get out there and have some fun. Remember, if you stay ready, even without an optic, you ain't got to get ready, and I will see you guys on the next one.